This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistant's assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Stop by Sherwin-Williams and get 30% off select paints and stains May 2nd through the 12th. It's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Refresh your home inside and out with colors that make every space feel brand new. From cozy interiors to stunning exteriors, we've got the perfect shade for your next project. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Click the banner to learn more. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
From the Fifth Quarter Studio in Madison, Wisconsin, you're listening to the Coaching Youth Hoops Podcast.
They're playing basketball.
Here's our hosts, Steve Collins, and Bill Flitter.
Coaches, welcome to another episode of Coaching Youth Hoops. Today, we're diving into a critical topic, at least I think is pretty critical and often overlooked: how to generate sponsorship dollars for your basketball club or local rec team. As you can see, this is not Steve Collins. We have a different face. Today, I'd love to welcome Nathan home to the show. Nathan, welcome.
Thank you, Bill. Excited to be here.
Awesome. Before we dig into why Nathan is here, I want a big shout out to Game Changer. And if you've been listening to the show for a while, coaches, you know that I love being efficient with my time, efficient with practices. And that's why I use Game Changer. Just point the camera and boom, you get stats at the end of your game, all right in front of you. So coaches, head on over to gamechanger.com/coaching youth hoops. And it literally is a game changer and a time saver. Again, that's gc.com/coaching youth hoops. All right, Nathan.
Yeah.
Please tell us, just give us a quick background, paint the picture on the sponsorship and landscape, and how important are sponsorships to club basketball teams and local rec leagues.
Absolutely.
So start with who you are and why you're here.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm excited to be here as a basketball junkie and a basketball coach for a long time myself. I have a fond place in my heart for the work you're doing and for your audience and the work that they do. And so excited to be here. I currently serve as the CEO of Lineup, a company that started a little over a year and a half ago, with our focus being on working with sports organizations, both primarily at the youth sports level, but also at the collegiate level and facility level, in helping them to develop brand partnerships and sponsorships that increase the accessibility, affordability, and quality of the experience for their athletes. Came to that, like I said, I was a basketball coach at both the high school and collegiate level, as well as the club level. And I have always recognized that as the cost of providing quality experiences going up, we need to find new ways to get new revenue streams in to help people be able to continue to do what they're doing. And, this landscape has changed a lot. I'm old enough to back in the 90s, remembering going through looking for the philanthropic dollars to take teams out to This was back in the early days of club basketball to out to Las Vegas for the
The
John
big
Farrell
tournament.
was organizing
Yeah.
what became the Nike tournament back in the mid 90s and finding ways to do that. And so I've recognized the need, the value, and the importance of that. And at the same time, I remember not liking doing that because I wanted to coach basketball. I wanted to focus on helping my players and not on trying to find ways to generate those dollars.
Yeah, and yeah, exactly. I mean, I think a lot of us coaches feel that pain and completely understand it. You know, athletic directors out there. Can you give us an idea of, maybe breaking down the basics of, just give us a high level overview, like the first steps. We need money. How do we do it? And what should I start thinking about, maybe from an organization standpoint?
Yeah, so the first thing is start to think about it, and this maybe sounds counterintuitive to some of you, but start thinking about the assets that your program has. And so those assets are not just your physical facility and those things, but it's also the players and their families, the network that you can create in the community that you can provide access to for brands. You have apparel, perhaps. You have tournaments that you run. You have leagues. You have different things that are all points in which there are assets in which a brand maybe sees an opportunity for them to connect with your consumers in a way that's meaningful for them. So start building out what those assets are. And then the second thing is to be thinking about what are you really looking for out of this partnership with a brand? What is the tangible returns that you're looking at getting? And then I start targeting what are those businesses that make sense for yours, where there's an overline of values and stuff of that. Those are the three kind of foundational. And then there's a lot of steps around how do you engage in that conversation.
Right. Yeah. No, that's a great overview to start. So let me make sure I understand something correctly. When you talked about assets, can I assume, to make it really simple, anything I can put a logo on?
Anything you can put a logo on, or any kind of content that you're distributing that they can be involved in the content creation or the content sponsorship of. So apparel, courts, signage in fields and other things, your newsletters, your social media accounts, all of those things become opportunities for brands to get involved with you.
And you talked, the last point you made was just left me. You talked about what was your third point, Nathan? Oh my goodness.
The alignment of values.
Oh, the values. Thank you.
Yep.
Yes. So can you dive into that a little bit more? Like, what does that exactly mean? And how do I know what the brand's value is? And you're not just, anyway, explain that a little bit further.
Yeah, so it begins with I always tell people when you're doing sponsorship and partnerships, and this is the approach we take when we work with brands on behalf of our clients, is that you're not selling, you're co-creating opportunities. So you first have to learn what are they looking out for? Are they looking to create awareness? Are they looking to create activations where they can get product in front of people? Are they looking to drive sales? But also understanding what are they wanting to be known for in the community. And so that's where the values start to come, understanding and taking a look. And you can find this on most companies' websites, even your local restaurants, of like what they stand for. And like, hey, we believe it. A lot of them will talk about they want to be involved in youth, or they're wanting to be involved in whatever type of initiatives in their community. So you can start to align what you do with what they value and the mark and legacy they're trying to make in their community.
That makes sense. And okay, so I got my assets. I know what the value is. We have shared values. Now, valuation. So I have all my assets. I'm a basketball coach. I don't do this.
Yeah.
How do I value all of that?
I wish I could tell you that there is this simple formula. And that it works everywhere and every time, and it doesn't. It's interesting. We specialize and work at this, what I call more of the grassroots level, but I was having a conversation with the CEO of a company who they do what we do really at the NFL and major league sports levels with the teams. And I said, so, hey, talk to me about your guys' formula for evaluation of stadium naming rights and all those things. And they said, there isn't one. There is no exact science with it. And so it really starts to become, though, what is the value that you can create for your sponsors? And so that's why I say at our level, at grassroots basketball, at the club level and stuff, it really is about, it's not just that the asset has value, but is how much can you pour into that relationship? How connected are you willing to help them achieve their goals and find out what's important to them? And that drives the value up with it. But you have to start with a simple valuation of, hey, we have this many players. We're going to do a logo on all their uniforms. And so, that is we have 500 players and it's a $2,000 sponsorship opportunity for you, or whatever those numbers are, depending on your situation. Mm-hmm. But there isn't an exact formula. It's really about the value that your organization has with that sponsor.
Yeah, I would imagine local pizza joint, it doesn't have the same dollars as a large chain of pizza
Correct.
places. So it's going to be different who you speak with as well. So you got to take that into consideration. Is that?
Yeah. So the different assets become different things, and you can have multiple sponsors for the same thing. So all of your, your social media becomes a great place that, hey, you become a sponsor of us. We're going to put you on our website. We're going to have you be listed as official partner in our facility. And you're going to get a social media post once a month promoting you and thanking you for your partnership. And so you package those together, and it can be at a price point that local pizza place sees enormous value in and can afford. You're larger. Hey, we run this tournament and we need a title sponsor, and this is a 5-figure title sponsorship. That's going to be somebody who has a bigger budget. That might be a regional car dealership. That might be a healthcare company. That might be those type who are like, yeah, we want to be associated with doing positive in the youth sports space. And they have different budgets and they have different goals.
Yeah, makes sense. And then what about some of the, I guess, common pitfalls or mistakes clubs and rec leagues make when they approach sponsors? Maybe some of your horror stories or experiences that you had, and that you could share.
There's the two most common ones, and I guess I'll take it first from the as a caution to how you can differentiate yourself and what you have to overcome as a club level is that brands, the horror story from the brands is that a lot of times, hey, we did a sponsorship and we sent the check, and then that was basically the end of it. They put our sign up, but there was nothing more to it. And so it felt like it was a donation, not a partnership. And so one of the pitfalls is that you want to separate that your organization or your team or your program from, hey, donations are one thing, and who those people who are just wanting to write a check to donate, take those all day long.
Right.
But to generate this new revenue stream, you have to view it as a partnership. And so now it really, the receiving that payment is the start of, you want to make sure that they see value of that. And so you want to promote their business and almost overachieve or over deliver on what you already had agreed to on that. You want to see them be highly successful. And so one of our clients, great example, the club director, they got multiple sponsors for their summer volleyball camp series. And the part of the thing was they would be able to distribute actual coupons for the people that sponsored it to each of the camp participants as they were there. And he's like, no. He's like, I want to make sure our coaches, we want associated. The coaches are going to hand that to every camper as they leave and promote it and say, hey, this is from one of our sponsors that's making this possible, and thank it. So they took it, and those brands really appreciated that. They're going to re-up again. They're going to look to, hey, we want to sponsor what you're doing in the fall because you have associated positively.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. And then you talked about success, but what does that mean? And how should I quantify success? When do I know it's success? On the digital side, it's, I can get a lead. I can get, now, does my traffic increase to my local pizza joint? Right. I mean, what have you seen in that side? Like, how can we educate the coaches to educate the advertisers on what success looks like?
So there's a great question. And, there's a common saying in advertising and marketing is that, half of all advertising marketing dollars are waste. I just can't tell you which half.
Yeah.
And so you as a coach, as a program director and stuff, you want to try to minimize that for them by going, hey, if you sponsor our fall league, we're gonna have 500 athletes and average of two adults per coming through, 1,500 that are coming through twice a week for 6 weeks. And so you're now getting, when you do that math, you're now getting 30 impressions and interactions with your brand to build that awareness up. Whereas if you buy a single ad on a digital platform, you're paying X amount and you're getting just that one shot at that. This is repetitive over. We have all these touch points with these families. They're coming here excited, and we're getting your brand in front of them multiple times for it. And so we talk about that cost per impression, because so many brands understand that when they buy digital ads, they look at that cost per impression. And your sponsorship of your jerseys and your facilities, those things generate enormous amount of impressions because families keep coming back to it.
Well, not only that, they're if you think about like a basketball game, right? They're in the gym for an hour staring at this banner, right? On the court, right? So and it's not like it's a, hey, let's pause for this commercial break, right? And there's like 3 or 4 advertisers. Right?
Exactly.
You're staring at the 1 or 2 that are there, right?
Absolutely.
So, yeah. That's interesting.
You can do some things like we did this with a fall basketball league where title sponsor was a fast food restaurant chain, and we created a marquee court. In this day and age, it's not hard to the costs are, it's no longer cost prohibitive to put down the stickers on the floor that are temporary. You created a marquee branded court. And then we created a social media drop, and we did for the social media, had them do interviews of a couple players off of each team after in front of that and post that on social media. And it became the marquee game and marquee court for that league every time. And they're sponsored. The brand loves that. The kids love it. It creates a big time feel for the athletes.
Right. Yeah.
And there are simple ways that you can execute creating that big time feel for the brand and for the athletes.
Well, and that really brings up some, like what are some more unique opportunities? And let's talk about scale here a little bit. Meaning, okay, I have a small rec league, okay, on that end or then I have, a large multi-team club. So let's talk about the small local rec league. Other than, let's stick a logo on X. Have you seen some really unique opportunities to help them think outside of their, sticking a logo on sticking a logo on something?
So there can be some really creative ways that you can do different things depending on who the brand is and the different things. And I'll give an example that isn't of a local rec league, but around that concept that it's actually for a swimming association.
Yeah, sure.
And a partnership with a recovery drink company where, they have the recovery zone. So that's where all the athletes go after their swim. And it's sponsored by Prime in that case was the sponsor. And so the recovery zone. And so it's this place those athletes go. You can create parent zones at your rec league that is like a branded where a parent could go, and maybe it is where they can get the parent recovery. And so it's coffee and something like that. But
the donuts and the coffee and the food, whatever, the snacks, while they're watching the soccer game outside, and it's
correct. So you create some of those things there, and it's all around. Though what I want to say is that the greatest asset that you have is the families and the participants. And so the brands, what they're really looking for is a way to interact. And so that's why I say creating things like if you create this fun recovery zone with sponsored by the local coffee shop and stuff, it's a fun way to promote and associate that. And it's a great way for them to get introduced and connected to the community and the audience that way.
That's
if
smart,
you have communications and social media are huge. If you're sending out an email every week to those parents, and you've got 500 parents, and you send that out over time, 10 weeks, that's 500 interactions in which you can help a brand be a part of delivering that and connect that. Those are all things that are those interactions, because what brands are looking for is the opportunity to interact with your consumers, because brands, for the most part, understand they can ignite passion with consumers when they align with what consumers value in their experiences. And so if parents love a great youth sports experience, if a brand can intersect in creating that, that ignites passion with their brand.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. One of the things that I did with actually was with my team is we do a shoe drive every year.
Yeah.
So what we do is we get a sponsor for that shoe drive, and what the sponsor gets is we create door hangers, and on one side is the sponsor's message, and on the other side is the information about the shoe drive. And we literally go door to door, dropping these door hangers off in mailboxes and the front doors in our area. And I think last year we distributed 2,000 door hangers and got like something 3,000 to 5,000 pairs of shoes.
That's
it was
fantastic.
Huge. Yeah. And so we're teaching the kids also to get involved because they're the ones that are doing the door hanging.
Correct.
They then have to meet the day of the shoe drive to package all the shoes, right? And then they go to charity. Those shoes do. We work with an organization that facilitates, or we send the boxes to, and one that's good for the community. So we got sponsorships for our club, but in a unique way. The sponsor got to reach 5,000 homes and associate themselves with a good cause. So that was one.
Bill, that is a perfect example of what we talked about earlier on understanding what the potential sponsors value and how you can co-create a way for them to be seen in the community in that way. It's an incredible way. And the other thing with that, then you probably did this, but those become additional social media content moments that you want to create and blast over social media, because that's the type of stuff that then gets shared. They're feel-good stories. And so the impressions of that sponsor that they receive go through the roof. And it's also, and we're big believers in this, helping local news media with what they're looking for, which is content. Right. And so, providing press releases, photos, stories, and content about that in video. You're amazed at some of the coverage on those type of feel-good co-creations that benefit not only your club, those athletes, but also the sponsor.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we did as well. We reached the local newspaper, had someone cover and then we also we posted pictures on social media of all the shoes in a big pile before they were started boxed up, and then after, with all the boxes stacked up with the sponsor, thanks to in this case it was my buddy John Wood. It was a real estate agent, and it was perfect for the local community. So
that's huge awareness for them. It's a feel good, and you understood the big thing in this day and age. Visuals are so powerful. So creating a photo op like that, so valuable to what you're doing. Beautifully done.
So I think if we just take this conversation and just kind of put a pretty bow on it, the big takeaway for me was brands they would rather have an experience than just a logo. Is that, if we're talking generalities, would you say that is so? If a club team, rec team can create experiences for the brands, more likely they will bite and buy on that because they want to experience the brand themselves.
Absolutely. This sounds weird. Your donors are fine with, I want to write a check and not be involved. Your sponsors, think of them as partners. They want to be involved. And so you want to create opportunities for them to be involved, just like you did for that realtor. Like, hey, this is a way for me to serve the community with you that benefits both of us.
Well, and I think the best way to go about that too, in finding sponsors, which we didn't really how do you find sponsors, is, well, if you have a large organization of, let's say, over 500 athletes, two of them, and the numbers probably better, they have parents who are the head of the marketing department, or have that local restaurant, or are a realtor that would be jumping for the opportunity to get in front of that audience. So start with your local community. When I say your local community, the parents in your program. Hey, this is what we're doing, and this is how you can get involved. Low-hanging fruit.
Absolutely. And then once you get a few of those, it's like anything. It starts to snowball it, because now they see this one doing, hey, I'd like for my car dealership to be involved. I'd like to sponsor, and what could we do with this? I see you have this league going on, or you've got this drive that I'd love to be a part of with you. It snowballs it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But start with those families that are in your organization, and not as an ask like of, hey, we're looking for somebody to do this, but hey, we're looking for brand partners
Well,
that
that's the thing. Yeah.
we can work with to add value to what you're doing, so that we can continue to make this accessible, affordable, and high quality for the athletes in our community.
Yeah, and it's that, I think the key thing again is the partner. It's a partner, and what does that mean, right? That's you're working together, going after the same cause, and yeah, so that's really key. So let's round this conversation off with I'm brand new. I don't know what I'm doing. Give me the basic steps I should just start with again.
Yeah, so the first thing is I would start with, and the one thing is that don't try to boil the ocean. Don't try to do all this at once, but start to take a look at, hey, here are the things that I think are valuable assets to somebody. And here is what we're hoping to achieve. Like, so it's that proverbial, don't tell them what you're looking for, but tell them what changes if you get a brand partner. So you now are, you take a look at, hey, we have this fall league, and I really like to get a jersey sponsor for this fall league, because if we're able to do that, we're going to be able to accomplish whatever that might be. And so now you start talking to brands and say, hey, we've got these different assets. I want to understand from what you look for in a brand partnership. Would our organization be of that to you? And here's what we're looking to accomplish through partnerships. And here's some of the assets we have available. But just start with one or two conversations and just approach it with, hey, don't feel like you're selling. You're having a conversation around, trying to find out what's important or valuable to you, because I think there might be a way for us to work together for both of us to achieve our goals.
Well, I have a question about that too, and how you deal with this, because I was thinking, I love your idea of, your soccer outside sport. It's a fall sport here, and I guess I'm in California. It doesn't get as cold as other places, but for us, it's cold. Yeah. Okay, so let's get a coffee sponsor for our soccer group. Okay, fine. I approached the coffee shop, and you mentioned donations. I get what a donation is. So they may say, well, we'll just donate coffee.
Yep.
The club needs money, right? Correct. The club needs money to pay for the fields, right? Great. I really appreciate your donation, but help me finish that conversation.
Yeah, so that's where I think you say, hey, we really appreciate that donation, but we actually are looking for a partner that can come and activate it for. We provide the facility. We're bringing that audience there. We're looking for somebody to partner with us, provide that value, and in return, we can now offer you. That's where you package other things. We're going to promote you on our social media. We're going to list you as a foundational partner, and so we can package your ability to both have your coffee sold there, and we were able to do that for a $1,500 partnership, or whatever that level that you're looking for out of it is.
Yeah.
But package those assets, and so it's not just we'll give you coffee and it's an in-kind service. There's times and places for that. Sure. No, it is, hey, we're bundling this together, and we think you would be ideal for our parent zone as a sponsor, and you could sell your coffee there, and here's that opportunity.
Yeah. I might. I think I might do that. I'm not. I mean, I told you I'm on the board of this local youth organization. I know this is a basketball podcast, but all of for one of the things that we're going through right now, all the prices went up for the fields and the gym space, and this rec league they're trying to keep their prices stable, right, to provide opportunities for more kids. In order to cover those costs, we would have to double what we charge parents this year, and they don't want it. And I get it. You can't double. And the gyms and the field spaces, right, just kind of can dictate the prices a little bit, right? So that's a great opportunity for them to go approach whomever to get the coffee and everything else supported, or whatever, a logo, or they do have the fields like we had talked about before. But so just to put it again, come back. So I heard you're a partner, create experiences, and don't think, we didn't maybe say this, but we only have X number of people. Nobody wants, no, don't think that way. Would you agree with those kind of three big takeaways?
100%. Those are the big takeaways. And your last point I want to reemphasize is that don't feel bad or feel tentative about the value you bring. Your families, your assets, here's the reality is people are paying to be a part of this program because they value it. Again, brands want to be culturally relevant in their communities, and so they need to be associated and want to be associated with things that people value. So you're actually providing them a service. It's not oh my gosh, they're doing you a favor. It is, no, I want to partner because I think we can I know we can add value to your brand, and I think you can add value to what we're doing in the following ways. And so we want to get you into a partnership in this model. Definitely be confident. Your organization has value to these brands, and not to every brand. So yes, be ready that some are going to say no, it's not the right fit. But your organization has immense value. Don't undersell yourself.
And if a club that has over 500 athletes wants to engage with you, where do they find you?
Yeah, so go to our website is www.lnuplineup.xyz and we have interest there. You can reach out and connect to us there. Otherwise, they can always email me directly. I'd love to talk to anybody and everybody. I love helping sports organizations, and so I'll give out my email on this podcast too. It's NHOLM home@lineup.xyz.
Awesome, Nathan. We could go on forever. I know probably another 20, 30 minutes talking about sponsorships. Appreciate you taking the time. This has been extremely valuable, and keep on doing what you're doing for the sports organization, because you're truly making a difference out there.
Well, I appreciate the kind words, Bill, and I love what you keep doing, what you're doing, and I love what all your coaches are doing, because sports is such an incredible opportunity for so many people, and there's so many young people that need basketball, need sport more than the game needs them, and so continue to do what you do. Love all of our coaches out there.
And coaches, till next time, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you on a court. All right, take care.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.